Hello, hi, hello. Welcome to GMA Talk, your most beloved, your most awesome, your most talk show, right here on YouTube and all your favorite social media platforms. Say it with me, GMA Talk, with yours truly, your host, Gerard Mutabazi Amani. I hope you are keeping well, you and your family, you are well as the ongoing pandemic we continue to deal with across the world, and we are seeing how the vaccine are rolling across the world into the society, into people's arms, and we are seeing countries around the world also giving vaccination also to refugees. So that is very encouraging because it's not over until everybody is included in the vaccine, whether it's refugees, displaced people, asylum seekers, the less fortunate. Everybody needs to be included in the vaccine process, in the vaccine rollout, and hopefully together we will make it through this. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And like many of you, it has really been a long year since the pandemic began, but by God's will, we hope and pray we will be out of this soon, as we have seen challenges and implications across societal levels, especially when it comes to conflicts around the world with the pandemic and people seeking for shelter, seeking for refuge. It has really been a challenge over the past 1 year. But as we all know, of course, conflicts and refugees, even before the pandemic, it was a very hardship. People faced a lot of difficulties, and now the pandemic added more difficulties on top of difficulties. So hopefully this is over soon. Hopefully soon we can really put this pandemic behind us, and together we can do this. I believe this to be true. Without further ado, this week we want to look at the Syrian conflicts. Syrian conflict that has been happening as of last week, 10 years now. I believe somewhere in maybe it was around 2015, and then leading into 2016 when the UN held in terms of leaders summit on the global refugee crisis. But the Syrian conflict really began in 2011. It was around March 2011, and then at the peak and the casualty and people fleeing, it was increasing, and around 2014, 2015, that's when you can say maybe the climax was, in terms of like people exhorting, in terms of like exiting the countries by the mass, and people dying, people being caught in conflicts, people trying to seek shelter, trying to seek safety, whether it was through the rebels in the country, in Syria, or even across the world, even going to Mediterranean Sea. And then we can all really remember the picture of a young small boy, dead by the sea, which really caught global attention and global world leaders. And even here in Canada in 2015, that was really a heated debate in terms of how to support the Syrian refugees and the people running, seeking for shelter and seeking for safety. And then here in Canada, that 2015 also there was a federal election, and so you can imagine now how it was debated highly among our federal leaders, among our provincial leaders, among our community leaders, and among our provincial leaders. They were saying they will take, maybe let's say, for example, like a province was saying, I'll take 2,000 Syrian refugees, I'll take 1,000 Syrian refugees, I'll take 5,000 Syrian refugees. And across the country, we saw a unified front when it came to helping and supporting Syrian refugees. And since November of 2015, the Canadian government, together with private partnership organizations, people, and in private sponsorship and blended visas, the Canada government has welcomed over 44,000 Syrian refugees as of December 2020, since November 2015. And among these 21,000 of them, they're sponsored directly by the Canadian government, and about 18,000 of refugees were privately sponsored refugees, and around over 2,000 Syrian refugees were in partnership, which is called a blended visa, in partnership with the government, and whether it's local organizations or local people who come together as a group to sponsor refugees. So, as the conflicts continue going in Syria, around the world, the Syrian refugees, they are in over 130 countries, just scattered around the world, as we're seeing the conflicts continuously. And every day people continue to be caught in the conflicts, people continue to run, people continue to die, people continue to starve, people continue to seek help and support. And among the countries in the world, I've already noted Canada since 2015 has welcomed over 44,000 Syrian refugees. But among the countries in the world, the most Syrian refugees are in Turkey, in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Jordan, in Yemen. So these 5 countries, they are the countries which are hosting the most Syrian refugees around the world. And of course, beside these top 5 countries, as I've noted, also Canada has also welcomed, US has welcomed Syrian refugees, and also other countries, whether it's France, whether it's Britain, whether it's in terms of also Greece, Spain, Syrian refugees are seeking shelters across different and various countries across Europe and around the world. So we really want to call peace and an end to the conflict that has been ongoing for 10 years in Syria. The conflict that seems to be no end in Syria. Enough is enough. The human cost of this war has been very, very brutal. And according to data, there have been almost 400,000 people died, wounded, injured, tortured. The cost of the Syrian war to the human life has been very detrimental, has been very dire, has been very costly, has been unbearable. So hopefully this war, this conflict, this fighting, hopefully we will see peaceful means in the near future, because Syrian refugees are tired of running, are tired of dying, are tired of starving, are tired of seeking for shelter, seeking for refuge. Syrian refugees are tired, and it's time that world leaders come together and end the conflict that is happening in Syria. It's time that world leaders come together and see how Syrian people can be supported to end the conflicts and safe return of those who wish to return, and those who continuously waiting in other countries to be resettled, and for those who are continuously taking dangerous journeys into the Mediterranean Sea. Really, we hope world leaders and intergovernmental organizations will continue working together and come together to find solutions for Syrian people, for Syrian refugees, and those internally displaced in the country, relying greatly on humanitarian support. I will post the link on the Syrian news to learn more about the key figures of the conflicts that has been happening, of the war that has been happening, and be informed. Make some noise, whether it's on social media, make some noise, whether it's among your elected leaders, make some noise, whether it's in your community groups, in terms of how you, as an individual, you can support refugees, you can care for refugees, you can let refugees and Syrian refugees and every refugees around the world know that you are here to support them. Be welcoming in societies. When people have been facing a war for a decade, when people have lost families, they have lost friends, they have lost everything, they have fled, they have run with nothing, they started afresh. Most of the time they experience language difficulties, climate difficulties, new environment difficulties. So the least and the most we can do as a society, as a people, is to see how we can welcome them, how we can care for them, how we can provide for them. So we all have a duty and responsibility to care for refugees around the world, in our society, and across the world. That's it for this week's GMA Talk on the Syrian conflict that has been going on for 10 years. Be informed and be called to action to help Syrian refugees in your community and to help refugees around the world. Until next time, yours truly, Gerard Mutabazi Amani. Love, peace, and unity. Cheers.